everybody, and welcome to the Game of the Week. Tonight at Labard Stadium, it's the 38th annual North vs. South Charity Football Game. Hi, everybody. I'm Paul Higgins, and welcome to the Game of the Week along with Bill Cunity. We welcome you to Channel 3 on a beautiful night. Bill, a little wind blowing off the shore right now, but it's going to be a great game. The North vs. South 38th annual All-Star Game. Last year, we talked about it on Coach's Corner, a 12-12 tie. We talk about quarterbacks, we talk about running backs, defensive backs. We talked about everybody except one particular thing, Bill, and that has to be the special teams.
Well, Paul, in a game like this, the year I coached it in 1979, we got into the second week of practice, and one day at practice, I think Eric Patton said, hey, you know, we do have to punt and kick off and all that stuff. So special teams sometimes takes a back seat to offense and defense. I've seen both teams practice, and the night I was at the South practice, boy, they were working on punt blocks and kickoff returns, and they were very polished. But it's a part of the game that can turn the game at any moment. And I think tonight, I think we're going to see a lot of scoring, but I think we may see some scoring off of special teams.
Well, one reason we mentioned that is because 1 year ago, it was a 12-12 tie. We talked about that, but we didn't tell you how it became a 12-12 tie, is that nobody made an extra point.
That's right. The entire game, the South scored with about 20 seconds left on the game on a middle screen to, I believe it was Trevor Inslee, and then Sam Stremick from Villa Park High School blocked the extra point. So I'd say tonight, Chad Johnson, the kicker from El Toro, who's with the South, you know, his range is just inside the gate when he walks in here. But I think that special teams will play a big part, but I also think that the number of skilled athletes that you'll see on the field tonight is just phenomenal.
Bill, we talk about all kinds of different aspects of this game, and I mentioned that for many, or for most of the kids here, probably all of them, it's a dream to play in this game. How much of a dream is it really to play?
Well, if you've been involved in Orange County football, maybe since Junior All-American or Pop Warner age, you probably have come to this game at some time or another. And a guy like David Seale from Aliso, Niguel, when he was growing up, I'm sure somebody told him at one time or another, hey, you're too small to play this game. And all he did was show everybody that you can play it if your heart's big enough. And he's in the game tonight. I'm sure he's dreamed about it. Chris Hayward, Nick Stremick, Cory Fross, all those guys. I'm sure they've had it in the back of their minds since the day they started playing high school football. And you wonder if you're good enough. You wonder if you'll get picked. Well, for 70 guys, tonight's the night.
Well, there's been some memorable games right here at Orange Coast College, and we go back to 1979. They set a record that year with attendance. Over 10,000 people showed up. It was a game in which Bill Cunity coached, and you had a young quarterback by the name of, actually had a whole bunch of different people, but Brad Parker played an instrumental role in this game. You're from Capitol Valley. You were the coach at Capitol Valley at the time. 10,000 people here. What was the feeling like? You guys won it, and you won it going down in style, or going out in style, because it wasn't decided to the last play.
Well, it was electric. I'll tell you what, for our team and for Glenn Hastings and the North team, I'm not sure either of us had ever played in front of that many people. And, you know, it's in the summertime, and it's kind of the start of football season again, and everybody was pumped. And to have a game like that where the lead changed hands 4 times in the last 5 minutes of the game, it was really exciting. And then we got the ball back with about 58 seconds left in the game, and Brad Parker took us on our little 2-minute drive and threw a pass to Darius Durham, and we caught it. And we thought, hey, we win the game. But there was, I think, about 22 seconds left. The North team drove back, and the guy just missed a 54-yard field goal. So I think the people got their money's worth, and I think they're going to get their money's worth tonight.
Yeah, that's what this game is all about. Great memories and great athletes. We bring up that 1979 game because we hope to have one as exciting as that one tonight. When we come back, we'll have the lineups get this thing underway. It is the Orange County 38th All-Star Game right here at Labard Stadium on Channel 3. This is the 38th annual Orange County All-Star Game. It's the North taking on the South, a charity football game here at Orange Coast College. I'm Paul Higgins along with Bill Cunity. Take a look at the lineups tonight for these two football teams. And starting at quarterback is Archie Lappin. We talked about him in the backfield for the North offense. The linemen up front, a bunch of different guys going to get a lot of different playing time tonight in all 4 quarters. North offense expected to be on the field, not as much as the South offense. North offense receivers and the place kicker Mike Phillips. That's a look at the North offensive squad, and the South seems to have a stronger offense, and they hope to put up a lot more points than they have in the last couple of years. Last year, only 12 points. They haven't won a game here in 5 years. This is the South defense led by Rob Gleason, David Seale out of Aliso, Niguel, and Brian Sepulveda out of Mission Viejo. Another Aliso, Niguel player, Nick Gerasimou at linebacker. Damian Minna, we've heard about him. We've talked about that young man. Scott Arthur, Brett Crowder, and Frankie Gonzalez is the punter for the South squad. And going on and moving forward with these two teams as they get set for the opening coin toss. Continue to show you some lineups on these guys, and they'll play 4 12-minute quarters, a short halftime, and we will get on with this thing.
Paul, this is going to be one of the biggest crowds that I've seen at this game. Right now, the South side's almost full.
Yeah, the stands look good, and so do the players. They look ready to play this thing. We'll continue our look at the lineups tonight, taking a look at the South offense. Hayward will get the start out of San Clemente. Stremick will come in sometime in the second quarter. The lineman up front, led by Stan Bennett. Out of Santa Margarita High School, Chad Johnson, the center for this team. He'll also kick the football tonight. Receivers, well, they have a number of them. We met Danny Polito earlier in the pregame tonight. I could not believe how tall that young man is. He is well over 6 foot, Bill Cunardy, and an impressive young man for his size and what he brings to the game. And this is the guys that are going to try to tackle Danny Polito and the rest of the bunch. Up front, Damon Brown. And these are the linebackers, Greg DeFries.
That's the son of the head coach over there,
bet.
John DeFries.
Out of Loera. And then Nick Armstrong, Gasso, Wynn, Rodriguez, Sable. The defensive backs. So that's a look at the lineup. When we come back, it'll be the opening kickoff here at LaBarge Stadium. Hi everybody, and welcome back to Orange Coast College. Kickoff out there on the football field. The North will get the ball tonight first. They'll be in the red. And at quarterback, we're going to see for the North squad, Archie Lappin. And we talked a little bit about this young man in pregame and also during the course of Coach's Corner. Quarterback out of Loera, on his way to Santa Ana College. MVP of the Empire League, all CIF Division 5. He was the team MVP too. Billy completed 139 passes with 223 attempts at 62%. So this kid can throw the ball. He can also run the football as well. Total of 19 touchdowns last year through the air, 8 on the ground running. And there's a foot fumble.
Damian Minna.
Touchdown.
Damian Minna stripped the ball on the blitz, took it right out of Lappin's hand, and scored a touchdown. And Paul, I have to tell you about something that happened before this game. Damian Minna dyed his hair yellow today. I saw him last night at Saddleback and his hair was black. Today it was yellow. And his dad said, "You're grounded unless you play a great game tonight." So I'd say he started off in pretty good fashion.
That or he's going to change the hair color after the game. Damian Minna starts it off with a touchdown off a fumble recovery.
I'll tell you, he's going to play for us at Saddleback this year. If he can do that, he can dye his hair any color he wants. He can dye my hair. I don't care. That's a great play. Great defensive play.
South has not won this game in 5 years. Damian Minna, a touchdown out of Santa Margarita High School. There's the penalty flag.
This is going to be Chad Johnson from El Toro to kick the extra point, Paul. And you see that new speaker system up there on the hill?
I hear it.
Oh, I can hear it. I tell you, Chad might put a ball right inside that thing.
So we're only a few seconds into this game, and it's already 6-0. The South, they lead it. They're in the white, the North in the red. People are still pulling up into the parking lot, and we've already got 6 points up on the board.
My guess is that would have to be the fastest touchdown maybe in the history of this series.
I don't doubt
years.
that.
I can't imagine unless somebody ran back the opening kickoff. That would have to be as good as it gets.
South All-Stars will line it up once again. Chad Johnson will make the extra point attempt. Michael Smith will hold. Chad Johnson out of El Toro. He does have a good foot underneath him, and he pounds it through. It's 7-0. South, they lead it. We'll be back. "39 seconds into the game, and the South, they lead it off a 10-yard touchdown by Damian Minna. And they come off the ball once again really hot and hard. And I tell you what, it's already got that feel of an all-star game.
Sean Tagatuli from Los Amigos and David Seale from Aliso Niguel, the two guys in there. Nick Gerasimou from Aliso Niguel is the signal caller on defense at inside linebacker. And he's flanked by Damian Minna on one side and Brandon Lambert on the other. Damian from Santa Margarita, Brandon from Tustin. And down here at corner, Dominic Degramont, who is probably the finest 300-meter intermediate hurdler he was this year in all of high school in the United States. And he's going to concentrate on track from now on.
2nd and 11. Graves has the ball. He bounces outside. He'll get knocked out of bounds at the 29-yard line. Out there on the tackle, Ryan Tombrello out of Edison High School out there to help out.
Ryan Tombrello is a 5'10", 175-pound safety. That's a good call by John DeFries and his offensive staff, because this South defense operates out of a kind of a 4-3 look, and they're blitzing a little bit inside, and they pulled both offensive right guard and right tackle and got outside. The right tackle, someone name familiar to you, that's Brian Barnes, son of John Barnes, Los Alamitos High School.
3rd down and 3 to go. The ball is on the 27-yard line. We're just underway in the first quarter.
Here comes Minna again, looking for the blitz.
Archie Lappin, the quarterback, and DeGrays gets it, and he's not going anywhere. An initial hit in the backfield by number 30 that time.
That's Brock Amos from Mission Viejo High School. Great job by Brock, and that Brock has a number change down there. He's number 40, and, or number 30 rather, Paul, and a nice job by Brock Amos, a terrific young man and a great linebacker. Played for Bill Denny at Mission Viejo.
Brian Fort will go back deep to take the punt. Kicking it will be number 14, Mike Phillips.
Now this is something the South worked really hard on, and that is rushing the punter. And let's see if they get a good push up the field against this. Here they come. Oh, that is almost blocked.
Not a very good kick, but it does get a north roll all the way down to the 42-yard line. So for the first time tonight, we'll see the South squad come out on offense. They wear white, led by Billy Newman, one of the running backs, number 4. He broke just about every record there is at Santa Margarita in the backfield. At quarterback will be, out of San Clemente High School, Hayward. And what a fine quarterback he is. Last year, he threw for 2,530 yards, 21 TDs, co-MVP, the South Coast League.
Look at this. They come out empty, which is my favorite offense. They better get somebody up on the line of scrimmage over here, though, or that's an illegal formation.
Completed out across the 50-yard line to Merle Sango, the wide receiver out of El Toro. Sango on his way
Villanova.
To Villanova. That's right. I was looking at his weight and height, 5'8", 165 pounds. And he's all muscle.
Yeah, he's just like Marcellus Krishan was, and that is he's just built like a little tank. He's steel, but boy, is he gifted. Now they're back into a single back offense with Billy Newman, Lawrence Mariner at tight end, Mike Smith, and Merle Sango, and looks like Danny Polito outside. Here comes the counter play to Newman.
Newman has it. He's trying to get across the 50, but he won't make it. Down around his ankles, the tackle made by number 40, Jake Ellen.
Jim Uloa in there on the tackle also, and Jake Elin from El Dorado. We were told by Coach DeFries that he thought very highly of his defensive front. Said these guys can really play, and they're very quick. The South now, Greg Lang comes in for Lawrence Mariner. It's 3rd down and about 3, Paul, and they're going to go to 4 wideouts. And boy, let me tell you, if they can protect the quarterback, this is tough to cover.
Hayward unleashes it. It's back in the secondary, and a player gets knocked over hard out there, too. There's a flag, a really late flag on that one.
They're going to call an illegal hit on that play, unnecessary roughness, because this receiver just got decked. I don't know if we have it on here, but that ball is completely out of play. That ball is over and done with, and this hit is truly uncalled for. And you can see guys jumping up and down the sideline saying nice hit. That has nothing to do with football right there.
I can't tell. Let's see now where it is. We'll see who is down as we take a look at it on the LA Times
You're going to see
Orange County replay.
The inside receiver, number 9, I believe it's Jake Savona. There's Jake right there. And that's that hit. If that would have been an interception, that would not have been a legal interception. A personal foul called, and let's hope Jake is okay. He's a terrific young man and a great football player from Irvine High School.
Well, that just gives the...
Now, let's give that defensive back a little bit of the benefit of the doubt in this respect, Paul, that he saw the ball was overthrown and he saw his teammate going after the interception. So he's thinking, hey, if that ball is intercepted, yes, I'm blocking. And that's okay, but the block was made before the ball ever hit the ground. So
it's going to give the South the ball and the first down.
Yeah, we just hope that, that Jake's
comes off, and actually he's still out there kneeling down. So he got clocked right there at the 21-yard line. He now gets up, and he's going to come off the field. The doctor's out to help him up, and he will walk off underneath his own power. You can see him right behind. Let's get a shot of him coming off, guys.
Always nice to see a guy run off the field like that. That's a pretty good guy right there, I'll tell you. He had a great career at Irvine High School.
He was down for a good 2 minutes. Clock stopped at 7:42. The score 7-0. The South, they lead it. They have the ball.
Trips to the right, and they're going to run the zone play over there, and there goes Newman.
Up the middle, up down to the 30-yard line. So he picks up a handful, and it'll be second down. And you can tell a little bit more intensity than the last couple of years. Already in the first quarter, we've had a touchdown. We've had a penalty called on an illegal hit after the play was over. And the South, they have the ball, and they're moving right down the field.
Now, Larry Arison, who is the referee for this game, and I don't know if we can see him down there, he is talking to both teams. And he's saying, guys, no more baloney. Don't hit after the ball, after the whistle. This is a football game. You're here because you've been honored as a great player. Now play like a great player.
Second down and 6.
Larry does a good job of that stuff. He'll control the game along with his crew.
John DeFries, the head coach of the North squad. Jim Hardigan, the head coach of the South squad. Billy Newman in the backfield. Hayward back to pass. Plenty of time down the middle to Sango.
Merle Sango on the seam route. A great throw by Hayward. And, you know, there's a great safety back there in that secondary for the North. Garrett Sable from Kennedy High School. He's going up to the University of Oregon. But, you know, you put him in a bind when you run 2 guys vertically up the hash marks. And the quarterback, if he can look him off in one direction, you don't need much time to get that ball inside. Now, nice to see here. Jake Savona checks into the game, in this case for Lawrence Mariner. And looks like they may go to the 4 wide receiver single back set, and that's what it's going to be. Got Danny Polito down here at the bottom of the screen with Merle Sango, and Savona and Mike Smith at the top with Billy Newman at the single back. Here comes the zone play.
Newman gets caught.
Oh, a nice tackle, Paul, at the line of scrimmage.
You know what they're doing to him, Bill? They're not tackling him high. They're tackling him right down by the ankles.
Yep. David Coates from Servite High School, number 99, with a great play there.
The referee tonight, as you said, Larry Arison. And he was out there talking to everybody to make sure they calm things down a little bit.
He did a good job. He's assisted by Matt Encinas, Tom Mann, Mel Rogers, Tom Woolham, and Bob Hernandez.
Trying to get young Billy Newman right around the ankles, pulling him at the waist as well. Second down and 8.
All right, here's trips to the wide side. Empty set, no backs in the backfield. You got to get it off quick because there's not much blocking.
Hayward getting flushed out, stops, looks, touchdown.
Billy Newman.
Billy Newman.
A nice job by Chris Hayward of avoiding that rush, Paul. When you go empty, you are limited in how much time you have to throw the ball.
8-yard TD pass to Billy Newman. And taking a look at Billy Newman, he'll cut across near the corner of the end zone. Actually, the back line. Hayward stops, pumps, and Bill, the rest is history.
You know, that's a nice throw. Look at that discipline in the route. He's right at the back of the end zone line, but what a great job by Chris Hayward of avoiding the rush. Here's the extra point by Chad Johnson, and he pops it through, and
score is 14-0. South, they lead it. They haven't won in 5 years. Maybe tonight is the time they change the tide. Hard to believe, 14-0 already. And we're only 6 minutes into the game. The South, they lead it. They've scored twice, as we talked about. 39 seconds into the game, Damian Minna stripped the ball and had a 10-yard touchdown. Just moments ago, an 8-yard TD pass from Hayward to Billy Newman, 14-0.
How typical is that? That's a Chad Johnson 70-yard kickoff.
I think his leg is warmed up right about now.
I think he's ready. That's right. He's done that for quite some time.
Bill, you're down 14-0 in an all-star football game. Your kids have worked tremendously hard the last 2 weeks in practice. What does Coach DeFries do now? Does he have a backup plan to the front plan?
A good question, Paul. I think what John would think, and most coaches say, look, guys, we can't get 14 points back on one play. So let's make some first downs. Let's get our offense going. We got a lot of time left in this game. So patience here probably would pay off in the long run.
New quarterback in. Sean Stein comes into the game. Sean out of Los Alamitos. His first ball is caught on the left-hand side, coming up near the sideline. Number 81, Steve Ward, the wide receiver out of Servite. Sean Stein, as we're talking about, earned first team All-League out of the Sunset League, named Sunset League Offensive Player of the Year. He completed 176 passes out of 262 tries for 2,547 yards. And Bill, this is the big one, 25 TDs. So his passes really counted.
Well, Barry Shear, John Barnes, the head coach there, of course, and Barry with that offense at Los Alamitos, they've done that for a long time, Paul.
Sean also in one game threw for 441 yards. That was against Loera High School. And bouncing to the outside on a nifty move coming out of the backfield, John Duhan?
John Duhan, he's from Loera High School also. And that was a very, very nicely executed trap play, Paul. And what happens if the South team is going to blitz? That puts a defender usually in every gap, but there's no backup to that. So if you can pop it at the line of scrimmage, watch this. There's the left guard with a nice trap, and there's John Duhan, and Nick Gerasimou runs him down on the sideline.
So that's their first down of the game. Ball is on the 43-yard line, still trying to get in South's territory. The North, they have the ball. Sean Stein, the quarterback. He did not start the game. Stacked up on the near side. Somebody moved.
Yep, right tackle did, Paul. So that'll be a illegal procedure against the North team.
This portion of the game of the week is being brought to you by Ballpark Pizza Team. And tonight they're bringing you tonight's Athletes of the Week. Ballpark Pizza Team is your local pizza parlor with family fun for everyone. Now come visit their two locations. One in Rancho Santa Margarita and Coto de Caza area, and the other one right in the neck of woods of Saddleback College. Mission Viejo off of Crown Valley and Marguerite. And I tell you what, Ballpark Pizza Team giving out their gift certificates. A lot of fun for us to get those out every single game of the week. Tonight's going to be interesting to see who we're going to give it out to tonight.
A lot of candidates. Okay, the North comes out and trips again, Paul. So they're a little vulnerable to the blitz. Let's see what happens.
1st and 15, they're backed up 5. Stein's going to be tackled from behind. He's going to be brought down. Swarming defense by the South squad.
That is David Seale again, number 66. How many times have we seen that? Whoever has to block that young man tonight is going to have a tough night. There's a good picture of David. I'll tell you what, there's a heart inside that jersey that's almost as big as those 2 6s on his back right there. He plays at 1 speed, and that's full speed.
He'll wear that number at Saddleback, maybe?
I'd say we give it to him if he'd like it, yeah.
66 going to the Saddleback Gauchos this fall, and Bill Cunardy.
You know, the neat thing is he and Coach Stutz are the same size, so they can coach each other.
Well, now they call it 2nd down and 15.
Here he comes
Stein
again.
Rushed heavily. Minna is out there, knocks the player out of bounds. Catching it out on the flat was John Duhan Jr., the running back out of Loera.
Paul, can you imagine being that offensive guard, and you know the guy across from you is strong, even though he's not really big, but he's very strong, but he is so quick that if you take a step with your left foot and he's going right, you don't even get a chance to get his license number.
Well, this makes it a 3rd down and 16, so they actually lose a yard on that play. They had some momentum going earlier on this drive, but since that time, David Seale has put some pressure on, and now the North squad in a little bit of trouble. Stein back to pass once again. Looking up the middle of the field, and this one almost picked off. It fell on the 50-yard line out there. Ryan Tombrello.
Ryan had a shot at that. They were trying to throw a seam pass to Gerasimou, and a pretty good pass rush again. Brian Sepulveda trying to get a little push up in the inside there, did a good job, and number 40 for the South that time getting a push. Sean I'm going to say it right, Tagatuli. I knew I'd mess that up, but this young man returning the punt, Brian Fort from Santa Ana Valley. Paul, he's only 5'9", 145 pounds, but he can fly.
Low snap, and a good punt it is. Going down around the 40-yard line. It drops right on the 40, and the bounce brings it to the 27-yard line. So we are in the first quarter of play, 4:19 left. And Bill, the clock continues to run on the change of possession here.
Remember the rule we visited a year ago that you know, if you stop the clock during all those things, you have a marathon game. I think what people are going to see tonight, it may disappoint them a little bit. This game's going to go too fast. I mean, you're going to blink and this is going to be over. Because you know what? These are college guys now. These are college players, and they're playing 12-minute quarters, so it'll fly.
Chris Hayward, except if we have a lot of penalties and timeouts.
That's right.
Chris Hayward at quarterback. I'm sure Coach Mark McElroy is really happy that his quarterback is the starting quarterback at the All-Star game.
You know, Paul, we're looking down here to our left where it's kind of a hall of fame of South Orange County coaches. We see Mike Milner, Bob Johnson, Steve Crapo, Mark McElroy, Jim O'Connell, Rick Curtis, Bill Whipple. Boy, there's a whole group of guys down there. And, you know, they're here to watch their guys, and it's summertime, you know. Summer school is going on, passing leagues. You know, this is a great time of the year because everybody's undefeated.
First down and 10. The ball is on the 27-yard line. We're in the first quarter. First quarter being brought to you by the Capistrano Car Company, right next to In-N-Out Burger on Avery Parkway. Used cars for $7,500 and less. Newman trying to dance out of trouble, and he doesn't get a whole lot of yards. He does have a touchdown tonight coming through the air, 8 yards out from Hayward.
I think, Paul, that the obvious strength right now, this North team, is their run defense. They've got 4 very active players in the down positions, some good linebacking. I just think the hardest thing for the North is going to be to defend these 3 and 4 and 5 wide receiver sets.
Billy Newman set 24 school records while at Santa Margarita High School. He is the running back. He
reverse to Sango.
Merle jukes one player, gets by him, has some room, jukes another player, picked up a great block. Number 54 out there for the South with a great block. Chad Johnson out of El Toro laid a lick on somebody. Merle Sango stretching out the field, Bill Cunity.
He got a pretty good whack on number 99 this time, David Coates. Now, Sango's going to do that a lot. He's going to make the first guy miss. There's Coates, and there's Chad with what's called a Sally Rand, or a kind of a comeback block. And on the reverse, the center has an opportunity to go downfield a few steps and wheel back around and look for the chaser. And the chaser in that case was David Coates. And this brings up a 3rd and 2. It'll be very interesting to see what they do. I believe Lawrence Mariner's back in the game at tight end. Yes, he is.
And Danny Polito comes into the game as well. 3rd down and 2. Ball on the 28. Clock winding down to 2:10 left in this first quarter of play. Now they stop it. And
that's a delay of game.
Delay of game. I was wondering, there was a long pause there.
You're right.
And I'm going, well, they didn't stop the clock. They didn't get knocked out of bounds. No one called a timeout. So they take it down to 2:08, take the 5-yard penalty. Polito on the near side. That young man is big. 6'4". I think he's bigger than 6'4".
Well, it looked like him when we were standing.
Yeah, it sure does. My best friend's 6'4", and they're going to him. Polito takes it. He's got to get a yard, and he does. First down across the 40.
I'll tell you what, you mentioned it. Danny's such a nice young man, too, when we visited with him tonight before the game. That's a load. You're trying to tackle a guy right now, who by our records is 6'4" and 220 pounds. I think he's a little bigger than that right now. But he's going to go to the University of Oregon. And remember the game we did here a couple years ago when he was just a sophomore, when Newport Harbor beat Servite for the CIF championship. And I'm looking at that guy, I'm going, boy, is he polished. And we look, and he's only a sophomore.
A lot of whistles going on in the field. Now the officials are going over to the North squad. And I'm wondering if they're telling him to put a couple extra seconds on the clock.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I see Larry Harrison do that, push his right hand up in the air thing. And I hope they don't turn up the speakers any louder.
Well, what they could do, they could start the game and then count like 4 beats and then start the clock. And then we'd be all caught up.
Sure, they could do that.
South squad getting ready to go. They want to play some football, but the official is all the way over on the other side with Coach DeFries.
Got Billy Newman at the single back. Merle Sango's in there with Greg Lang, Lawrence Mariner at tight end, and George Sumner is the split receiver from Corona Del Mar. Chad Johnson at center, flanked on one side by number 65. Make sure that we get all these players in here because that's a name, that's a number change. I want to make sure that we get Mike Switzer in there from Trabuco Hills.
Well, the game of the week is being brought to you by Decor and Tile. Remember, if you're remodeling a home, bath, or kitchen, Decor and Tile is your source for ceramic tile, plumbing fixtures, and natural stone. That's Decor and Tile, located at 23052 Lake Forest Drive. Now they get everything straight. 2:02 on the clock, so they put 6 seconds back up there. Billy Newman in the backfield all by himself. They fake to him. Hayward rolls out. He's got a man open. Sango falls down on the 49. He had about 10 yards in front of him. And if Sango's not open, they had another wide receiver, actually a receiver out there, number 44, who was open as well, the tight end, Lawrence Mariner.
Absolutely right, Paul. This is bootleg pass. And if you run the counter play with any success at all, this bootleg is a dynamite play. And part of the reason that it was so open was Chris Hayward made a marvelous fake to Billy Newman. And that's, Paul, that's called a naked bootleg. You're not pulling a guard. All you're doing is counting on the fact that you could sell that play. And in this case, Adrian Durley, the defensive end for the North, really chased it. And you might see him come back to that.
Mariner comes out. Michael Smith lines up. Near side wide receiver. The trips to the left.
Here's empty again.
First time a negative play for the South. Brought down in the middle there by number 68, Adrian Durley.
Now they got Durley last play on the bootleg. This play he comes in and makes a great play to sack the quarterback. If you watch this, Paul, this is empty. And the North now, as soon as they see empty, they're going to blitz. And you've only got 5 guys blocking. And kind of our rule when we run empty is that you better throw it in 2 seconds or less, or you're going to be on your back. And that means there was very good coverage in the secondary by the North team that time.
Got to have a lot of speed with your wide receivers if you only have 2 seconds to throw the football. Billy Newman in the backfield now, 3rd and 10, inside 30 seconds to go in the first quarter. Everybody covered really well across the middle. A good pop. Mariner catches the football, coming after him in a big way. It's great he's out there.
Yes, you know, Keon Graves probably known more in high school as a great running back, but it's also a very good defensive player, as he showed on that play. They ran a little, here it is, a little tight end delay. Watch the tight end. 1, 2, 3. He pops out late. There's the throw. And Keon Graves makes a nice hit there to strip the ball.
Why would the clock be stopped right now, Bill?
Change up with that ball actually was an incomplete pass. That's
okay.
Why, so.
Ooh, there was a push there, and there's going to be a flag. That was pretty evident from where we were, and you'll pick it up on your screen.
That's a good call, Paul. You saw that. You can push him, you just can't push him in the back.
Yeah, South will get penalized for that. Pardon me. North will get penalized for that. 15 seconds left on the clock.
You know, while we have 15 seconds, let me congratulate you again on the job you did on with ESPN on the X Games, Paul. It was just absolutely fabulous. I'm not saying that because you're standing here next to me. It's just that I know my knowledge of vertical bike jumping and skateboarding is 0. And now you've taught me all these the double wing dinger slam row and all that stuff, and I got the biggest kick out of watching it. But wow, I think everybody in the county that's had a chance to watch you the last 8 or 9 years is thrilled to death for you. You've done a great job.
I
Congratulations.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Happy for you and Bobby and all the people, Tina and everybody that's doing that. You're doing a great job.
I appreciate you saying that, Bill, and all the people that come up to me, I really thank them. I don't get a chance to talk to a lot of people all the time, but thank you very much.
Now, Paul, I went on my back, and never mind. I won't even tell you.
You tail whipped the curb. I know you did.
Is that what that's called? I thought it was called falling down.
I need to get in the mode tonight that I was at the X Games. I'm trying to get up to speed here. First down and 10. The ball's on the 45. Of course, I'm working with the best guy in the business, and that's Bill Cunity. Clock ticks down, and Bill, first down and 10. So the North, on that penalty, gives up the football. And I tell you what, the South will continue their drive here in the second quarter when we return. That will start. Welcome back to the game of the week. The South, they have the football. Nick Stremick comes in at quarterback, number 7 at a modern-day high school. And what a fine player he is.
Number 91, Anthony Colacion from Esperanza, shut that play down quickly. And I think the running back now is Ray Orell from, Ray's in there, number 22 from Newport Harbor.
Bill, I tell you what, Nick Stremick has played in some big games. He has won 2 national championships in the last 3 years as a modern-day Monarch. First team All-CIF, All-South Coast League. He threw for 2,427 yards and 27 touchdowns last year. He's back to pass. Stremick, he's going to get brought down, too, in a big way underneath the pile. Coming out is number 71 for the North team, the Yankee, Dan Macklin.
Danny Macklin. That's a really nice pass rush by Dan. He got leverage on his offensive lineman, and watch this now. You'll see on the right side of the screen, he gets a good push and drives that guard right back into the backfield. Not much Nick Stremick could do there. So, Paul, we've got a third, and we'll call it 23, third and 23.
Time of possession has just killed the North team because they haven't touched the football that much.
That's right. You got to get it back.
They could have had the football back in pretty good field position, but an illegal block to the back on the punt. Newman picked this thing up with his right hand, but he's not getting anywhere. Knocked down on the 40-yard line. The big hit by number 90 in there, and also the initial hit by number 97, Dannon Brown.
This is going to be a screen to the running back. You can see the rush come in. Nick gets rid of it, but what you saw there was what's called a spy technique, and that is the linebacker just sits and kind of reads and waits for that particular play. They'll normally assign either a lineman or a linebacker to look for the screen.
David Coates was in there as well. Fourth down and 23. They'll have to punt the ball. A good snap, and the punt shanked off the right side of his foot. It takes a south bounce down to the North 31-yard line. So the North will take over. They're in the red. I'm Paul Higgins on Bill Cunity, and welcome to the 1997 edition of the 38th annual North-South All-Star Football Game. This is all done for charity. Phil Anton does a wonderful job as the chairman of this game. As the orchestrator of this game, Bill, he really, really sells this big time.
Like you said tonight, it seems like he does it all year long. You know, I mean, he really works hard at this thing.
Don Schweitzer actually is the game chairman out of the Lions Club. Phil Anton is the game coordinator and head of publicity. The co-game chairman is Todd McIntosh. So those guys all do a wonderful job. There's many, many more people that help out in the Lions Club. Lots of different parents. Doctors give up their evening to help out the kids in case they get hurt. Trainers, coaches, moms, dads. The list goes on and on. 2nd and 6 for the North. Stein's back in at quarterback.
Looks like he's checking to another play. There's the trap, and there's Gerasimou.
Get about 3 yards on that.
Boy, nice job by Nick Gerasimou reading that trap play. And Paul, we want to say hi to some guys that are watching this game, I'm sure, tonight together. Mark Cunningham, the coach from University who coached this game last year. He said he was going to have his whole staff together from last year. Don Douglas, Scott Douglas, Brett Payton, Taz Murtaugh, Dick Roach. They were all going to get together and watch this game. And I said we'd say hi to them, and a neat group of guys.
They sure are.
You know, I'm really worried about where they are together. Yeah, that's at the...
Think they have arrived yet?
Here's the pitch play. And let's see who's at the bottom of that pile. Number 45 for the South. And it's that was another number change also. We've got to make sure.
Well, Leo Cosi was the ball carrier, and Bill, at a CIF Division 5 offensive most valuable player in Garden Grove League offensive MVP. Last year he rushed, oh my goodness, for 2,444 yards. Is that correct?
Yes,
37 touchdowns.
Rancho Alamitos High School, and I'll tell you, he put on a show in the playoffs last year.
Boy, he scored a total of 222 points. And at one time, he scored 5 touchdowns in one game. He played all 4 years on the varsity and rushed for a career total of 4,873 yards. That's number 21 in red.
Delay a game. There was a penalty back here in the back before anybody moved. And, you know, Paul, what's so killer about that? It was 4th down and 2 feet, and you get delay a game.
I wonder if Leo was going to get it or if the fullback was going to get the football.
Can't do that.
Leo at 5'7", 190 pounds.
Now they have to punt the ball.
Is that really what he is, Bill? 5'7", 190? The kid is like a brick wall.
When I had a chance to speak at the LA Times All-County Banquet, and I met Leo, and Leo... he would remind you of Matt Carvalho. Remember?
Yeah,
played for us?
You bet.
They could look like
29, Dana Hills High School.
Yep.
Number 29 used to score a lot of touchdowns for the Dolphins, and same was true for the Gauchos. That was almost blocked. These punts, Bill, and we talked about it. Maybe we picked out the right thing to talk about in the sense of special teams, because it looks like some punt's going to get blocked tonight.
Either blocked or both punters now have, one had a 12-yarder and this one's a 14-yarder, and you just give the South phenomenal field position. But, Paul, this is flying now. There's 7:14 left in the first half, and this is going along very quickly. We've got Nick Stremick back in at quarterback again.
I'll have to buy you dinner tonight, Bill.
on the way home.
Little Santoris pizza tonight.
There
we have
go.
to, you know, maybe stop by and get something else. Well, trips to the near side. Polito is in the near side. Also Michael Smith and Merle Sango. Stremick hands it off, though, in the backfield. A great tackle and hit made initially. Pick up a number for you. It looked like number 38 was in there.
You're right.
And that's Kevin Ashton.
Absolutely right. Kevin Ashton from Sunny Hills. And, you know, one of the things that I think the South coaches felt like they could do because of their threat at wide receiver would be run the ball, because you spread the defense out. But, boy, I have been tremendously impressed by the way the North has played run defense.
2nd and 11, 7:14 to go in the first half, 14-0. 2 first quarter touchdowns by the South squad. They haven't won here in 5 years. Stremick rolls to his right. He's got a lot of pressure, throws behind Merle Sango. Running him down was number 68, Adrian Durley, and we're calling his name quite often tonight.
At the Times All-County, or at the banquet that they had for this game, put on by the Brea Lions Club, I had a chance to sit with Adrian and his family, and this youngster is going to go to Cerritos College, so we'll have to play against him this year. And he's just a very well-spoken young man, a real gentleman, a good student, and I'll tell you what, they fooled him once on the bootleg. They haven't fooled him since.
Well, he is fast. At 6'2", 210 pounds, as you said, out of Kennedy High School. Adrian Durley, number 68, creating havoc in the backfield with Nick Stremick at quarterback. Polito again, the same formation. Polito on the near side, right there. They're coming back to Sango. Sango cuts back, and he's rocked right there on the 36-yard line. Make it to 37. He's not going too far.
That's great defense. That was the quick screen into the trip side. And watch this. Here's the throw. Stremick, one step and throws. Now, watch this. The red jerseys just fly over there. Oh, that's a nice tackle by number 9, Ruben Gasso from Buena Park.
4th down and 11. Bill, they'll have to punt it away.
Things have calmed down, haven't they?
Yep.
Kind of gotten into a little rhythm here. North hasn't had the ball very often, but They're sure playing good defense on the North.
Seale is back, and this punt is going to go pretty far. Down to the inside the 30-yard line, right at the 25.5. Also back there for the South was Jose Rodriguez. So the South will give up the football. The North will take it back. And with 6:14 to go, we have a pretty good crowd here at LaBarge Stadium. The South squad is filled from edge to edge. The North side, we've got one section of bleachers that has about 20 people in it, and that's about all that we have room for that's left on the other side.
Isn't that great to see? This is terrific for the Brea Lions Club, the Padre Foundation, all of the charities for tonight's game. They're the beneficiaries.
Archie Lappin back in the game. He rolls to his right. He can throw the football, and that ball is tipped twice. Out of bounds it goes. Stops the clock at 5:54 to go in the second quarter.
Brock Amos and Nick Gerasimou were chasing that quarterback down in that sprint out. And, for a quarterback to throw sprint out passes, you really have to get your shoulders square to the line of scrimmage. And they didn't allow Archie Lappin to do that.
Good look at Merle Sango on the sidelines out of El Toro High School. Archie Lappin, the quarterback.
Boy, Merle Sango, as you know, at the top of the what a nice young man. Wish him the best on his adventure back at Villanova University, and he has been a special treat to watch here in South County for 3 years.
Well, if Archie Lappin can get away and run the football, he's pretty good at it. 595 yards last year and 8 touchdowns. I formation. Archie drops back and he hands off. Trail back number 5 is Grays, and now we've seen Grays on offense, and then we've seen him on defense. He made a great play. Now he's running the football again.
If David Seale doesn't get an ankle there, watch this. This is the draw play, and David Seale right there gets an ankle, or else Keon Grays might still be running.
Those are the things that you don't always pick up if you're a regular spectator. Bill, coaches like yourself, players like yourself can pick that out, and sometimes those guys get overlooked, and that was a great play by David Seale. To be honest with you, I didn't see David catch his ankle.
It's nice to have this instant replay, too.
Yep.
This is wonderful.
Lappin, 3rd and 6. He's going to be rushed heavily, but he gets out of it. 3 guys fell off his back, and this is what I mean. He can take off and run, and Bill, it looks like he'll get a first down.
That's the kind of stuff he did at Loera for 3 years. And he is a real gamer. I know, talking to Coach Tom Shine at Santa Ana College, who gets a chance to coach him, this is what he does best. This is a little play fake. Here comes David Seale. And actually, David gets bumped off of that, or else he might have made the tackle. But that little arm flick right there can slow you down enough so you miss him. Here, Nick Gerasimou just kind of grabs him by the neck and says, that's enough. That's far enough. Archie is a really exciting football player.
First down and 10. 5:03 left in the half. 14-0. The South, they lead it. They've led it from 39 seconds into the game, and Minna's going to come off the field. He must have known that I was just going to say his name, because he scored the touchdown tonight. 39 seconds into the game, picking up a ball off the turf and running it in from 8 yards out.
You know, blitzing is an art form that if you can perfect it in terms of coordinating it with the snap count, then you have a real advantage. But a quarterback can really stymie that blitz if he varies his snap count. And in that case, it looked like Archie just delayed a little bit. And if he goes on the normal snap count, maybe Damian times it up and he's in the backfield before you can block him. But in that case, kind of caught him in the neutral zone.
Eagles cheerleading staff on hand tonight at the All-Star game. First down and 5. 5:01 to go in the half. I formation for Archie Lappin. We've already seen this guy pass and run. Can he get it into the end zone?
Now, I'll tell you, I want to show you this instant replay. If we have this play, there's David Seale getting up off the bottom of the pile. David gets blocked at the start of the play. The guard does a good job of driving him off the ball for about a step. Then David spins off the block and comes right back and makes the tackle. And you know, we always say this is, you know, Dick Stutz has coached our defensive line for a long time and does a magnificent job. He tells the guys, you're going to get blocked, don't stay blocked. And boy, David did a nice job of spinning off that.
2nd and 2 on the 45-yard line. A very long snap count. Lappin holds on to it. He winds and twists and turns for about 3 yards, and he might have gotten pretty close to that first down marker, Bill. They're going to have to stop the clock and measure it. It looks like he is pretty well dead on right here.
Yeah, they gave it to him. Larry Harrison said that's not close enough for measurement. First down for the North. 3:54 and counting, Paul. And I'll tell you what, this first half's gone by in a blur.
Really?
The crowd here tonight, I'm going to guess right now, south side is packed, the north side, a few places to sit. So I'm going to guess maybe 7,000 or 8,000 people here right now. What a great way to start football season.
I'm already getting fired up for it.
I'll tell you, it'll be here before you know it.
You take a couple weeks off, get recharged.
Going to try.
Graves, boy, look at this guy go. Down to the 40. He's got one man to beat. One-on-one, cuts back inside and goes out of bounds. An electrifying young man who should have been caught at the line of scrimmage burst his way all the way down inside the 15-yard line.
You know, here's the slow-mo. It's a great block at the line of scrimmage there. Here comes the pulling guard for a little kick out. And I tell you, if you miss this guy at the line of scrimmage, he's got the speed and the power to really make it work. There's a nice block downfield by Stephen Ward. And Brian Ford is the only guy left that can wrestle him out of bounds. So, Paul, that's all the way down at the 17-yard line. And the North just about to get back in this football game.
Brian Ford did a good job staying with him, holding on to him. North trying to score. Lappin the quarterback. They seem to do pretty well when he's in there. Lappin. Near side, throws it out on the near side of number 16, Tessier.
Paul Tessier, he played it. We did a game that he played in, if you'll remember. Paul Tessier was a receiver for Pacifica in the Aliso Niguel championship game. He catches a hitch pass, well thrown here by Archie Lappin. And a real good job there by number 8, Brian Fort. Remember, he only weighs 145 pounds, but technically he is an excellent football player. He really he's a great backpedal guy. He's a great man cover guy, and he shows
doing a good job of going.
Throw that 145 pounds around.
He's doing a good job of going east and west. There's a timeout on the field. We're going to step aside. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the game of the week. 1:45 to go here in this first half. The South trying to drive the ball into the end zone. Tackled right there by the 5-yard line just moments ago. South trying to put the ball in. And it would be great for them to score, Bill, going into the half only down by 7 as opposed to 14.
Absolutely. They got Leo Cosi in a tailback. And Leo's best play, I think, is you pitch him the ball and you let him run and create. And he's pretty good at that.
They're set up in the I formation. 3rd down and 5, and a lot of penalties happening in this first half. A lot of guys jumping off sides on both sides of the ball.
You know, there's a case where I don't know if we do have it, but the offensive left tackle for the North flinched his left knee. And Lawrence Mariner and, let's see, number 40, Sean Tagatuli also, they both jumped. And no one saw it, so it was called offsides against the South team. And here's Leo Cosi. Look at this. What a great defensive job by the South. I thought Leo had a clear path there to the end zone on the left-hand side of the center. And, Paul, that Lawrence Mariner and looks like Tagatuli again. Both just pushed him. Watch this. Here he is. Now, all of a sudden, whoops, we're going the other way. Oh, that's also in there Brock Amos, too. Good job by Brock Amos.
Timeout on the field. This portion of the game of the week is being brought to you by Aquatech. If you have cracked or stained concrete surrounding your home, don't remove it, just improve it. Aquatech can save you lots of money with their specialty coatings. First, they repair the cracks, then they coat it. The finished result looks just like the real tile or natural stone. Give Aquatech a call today. at 489-0273. That's 489-0273.
I think I have to do that in my backyard.
I tell you what, they do a wonderful job.
That's what I understand.
They do a fine job. I want to welcome Family Toyota to the game of the week right there in San Juan Capistrano. Just opened up about a month ago, and we welcome them aboard our telecast here on Channel 3. And for all you sponsors getting ready for the football season, well, we're getting fired up. I tell you what, just you and I right here kind of feel the energy. And I know that Friday nights are quickly approaching us for the fall football season. And Bill, I think we're going to try to get a couple more Saddleback games on this year and have a little fun with that. Maybe we'll throw in a Chapman game if we can.
Good.
That'd be a lot of fun. Got to get you to do a Chapman game when you're not on coaching that night.
Sounds good. Okay, 3rd down and about a yard. They have Lappin behind the line of scrimmage, and let's see if they have any timeouts. That clock is running right now, and it doesn't look like the North has a timeout. Well, they do. They finally use it, Paul, but boy, what a great charge that time. And Tagatuli is playing himself a heck of a game.
He
Number
sure
40.
is. That was a fine play, and they're going to go to the side
Look at this.
Talk about this.
They tried to run a little play action and get the quarterback outside on the bootleg, but there's Brock Amos, there's Sean Tagatuli, and now the North has 32 seconds left, and it's 4th down. John DeFries has to make a choice here, Paul. Do I kick a field goal and get something on the board, or do I risk going for it on 4th down and coming away with nothing? And that would be a big momentum change.
What would you do? 1979
hey,
before the half. I know what you would do, but tell us everybody what you would do.
I don't come to this game to kick a field goal.
That's right. You got to go for it.
I'll tell you, if I did that, my daughter Shannon would give me a rash and she'd say, you know, Dad, yeah, kick a field goal right.
And Claudia wouldn't cook you dinner for a week.
I'll tell you what,
you're never home for dinner anyway.
I think that in this game, and it happened to us last year in that game against Long Beach, where we scored with 30 seconds left. Do you kick an extra point and go into overtime? Well, maybe sometimes.
Sure.
But I don't know. Just a belief system in our kids, and the kids wanted to do it, and we went for 2, and we got it. And if we don't go for 2, then that's my fault. I accept that. But boy, you have to do what your players want to do too. I mean, they're the ones that are out there playing.
How about this crowd? Coach Rain, Coach Hartigan, he wants this game bad. Lappin, and he's not going to make it, or is he going to make it? They haven't called anything. The red shirts have their hands up in the air. The guys with striped suits are calling for time, and there's a touchdown. Somebody signaled it. A very, very late call.
Wow. Love to see this one. I think it's a brilliant call, first of all, to run option on the goal line. You give yourself 2 choices. Either the quarterback can turn it up or you can pitch the ball. But that is a very good call on the goal line. Here it is, speed option. And boy, it looks like he's not in, but maybe he stretched the ball out. Remember, when your knee hits, that's kind of where the ball has to be. The ball better be over the goal line. But a nice drive by the North. Excellent ball control, and with 27 seconds left, let's see if they can tack on the extra point. They do.
Well, it's 14-7. We'll step aside. We'll come back for the final 27 seconds of the first half. We'd like to welcome Scarantino's back on the game of the week. The score 14-7. The guests tonight are the South. The North is the home team. The South, they have the football with 27 seconds left here in the first half. Stremick, the quarterback, he has had the rock the entire second quarter. Billy Newman has it right now, and he gets across the 28 down and across the 30-yard line, depending on where they're going to mark the football. Timeout called. 17 seconds left on the clock.
This is just a zone play. You can see Newman pops off tackle and gets outside here. And if you're thinking about trying something, that's the time right now to call timeout. They lost about 7 or 8 seconds waiting for that, but I wasn't sure. Maybe they just let the time run out. But you got a strong arm in Nick Stremick, some great receivers. 17 seconds is a long time.
Boy, you talk about a strong arm with Nick Stremick is exactly right. This young man threw for 2,427 yards and 27 touchdowns last year. He said his biggest thrill in his high school career was playing in the LA Coliseum for the CIF title. Young man brings a 3.0 GPA. That's pretty tough to do, playing sports at modern day, and how busy he is, and to maintain a good GPA. Congratulations goes out to him.
17 seconds. See what they can do.
Michael Smith on the near side for Stremick. Set up at wide receiver. He looks away from him. Stremick's going down, and he went down fast. 99 and 97. Coates is in there, and Brown is in there for the North team. And this will probably, and it will, wind down the clock. So at halftime, the score will be the South. They lead it 14-7. When we come back, we'll go over the scoring and then get right into the second half. The score at halftime, the 38th annual North-South All-Star football game, is 14-7. The South, they have led it the entire way. The first offensive play of the game for the North turned dismal. We go back to that first quarter, just seconds into the game.
See Damian Minnan, number 2, from the South, comes in and strips the handoff between Archie Lappin and Keon Grays. Minna picks that ball up, and Paul, it's probably the quickest touchdown in the history of this game.
At the 6-minute mark, it was an 8-yard TD pass from Chris Hayward to Billy Newman.
Hayward avoids the rush here. He gets outside the contain. Watch this. Sets his feet, throws down the back line, and there's Billy Newman. Boy, great execution.
Well, the second quarter was pretty slow, except for the last couple of minutes into the game, into that quarter. And then right here, Lappin goes in from 1 yard out.
Speed option, which is a good choice on the goal line. You can pitch it or keep it. He turned up. I thought the South had players there to stop the play, but the official ruled a touchdown, and boy, that closed the gap, Paul.
For 35 guys that don't play a lot of football together, they are doing well. The crowd's enjoying it. We'll be back with the second half right after this. Welcome back, 14-7, getting things underway here in the second half. North kicking off to the South. South will have the football down to the 5-yard line, actually the goal line, coming out in a hurry near the 20-yard line. Be first down and 10 for the North squad.
Merle Sango with that return, Paul.
Merle is quicker than you can get to your house on the wall and turn off the lights. He is so fast.
There's some good blocking. You know the rule on this, Paul, and I think it's a critical rule. You can't block below the waist on any kicking down. And I think that's a terrific rule to save guys' knees, because, boy, there's a lot of full-speed collisions going on kicking game.
Nick Stremick stays in, and he'll quarterback the third quarter. He did so in the second, so they must be going first and fourth and second and third on the quarterback situation, or who's ever hot maybe in the fourth quarter, as you say, Bill.
Pitch pass to Danny Polito, and that's always a good call because there's just a mismatch. It's 6'4", 220 against 5'9", 170.
Nick Stremick at a modern-day high school said that his most thrilling experience as a high school player was to play at the LA Coliseum and win a CIF championship, and the end result of that was a national championship as well, as a modern-day Monarchs out of the South Coast League, victorious in both rights. South in red, 14-7 right now. The North scored late in the second quarter, just moments before the half.
Nick Stremick changing the play at the line of scrimmage.
Stremick unloads one. Polito was pulled down from behind. Actually, you got to pull him a little bit harder to pull him down, but he was pulled back a little bit, and that penalty is going to go against the North squad.
It's tough to pull him down from behind, but Jose Rodriguez from Anaheim High School playing corner, and Jose is 5'10", 180, playing against 6'4" and 220. And that was a nice little pump by Nick Stremick. Watch this little pump and lays it up. Oh, pretty throw. But you can see Polito can't get to it because it's hard to run when a guy has you by the seat of the pants.
Sure did, and that will bring up a first down for the South, and this is good news for them. We talk a lot about momentum. Bill and I mentioned it at halftime. It's like anybody's guess on who has the momentum, but it would have been the momentum of the South all the way if they were able to stop the North going in from 1 yard out. But right now, it's kind of the balancing act, the seesaw effect.
They could regain it quickly if Nick Stremick could lead them on a drive for a touchdown here, because 21-7 in a game like this, with the way that the South team is playing defense, would be a very, very big margin right now. So there's defensive holding is the penalty, which carries with it an automatic first down, Paul. It's nice to see Nick Stremick get a chance to run this offense when there's some time. You know, he was in before with less than a minute left.
Stremick, the quarterback out of Monterey. Polito on the near side. Newman in the backfield. He touches the football. He'll get about a yard and a half.
An outstanding play on defense there by Leland Solomona, 5'11", 225-pound defensive lineman from Sonora High School.
Solomona coming up and making the tackle.
Number 15 steps right up into the gap and makes the tackle. And I think you and I would probably both agree right now that the thing that has been missing in this game is a running game by either team.
That's exactly right, Bill. That's a very good point, because most of the big plays, except for one big run by Grays, has been through the air. And a fumble recovery and a controversial 1-yard touchdown run by Lappin at the end of the first half. Of course, it might be controversial for us way up here. And that pass is not going to go too far.
Give great credit to Nick Armstrong from La Habra. This becomes a little closer matchup. Number 7 right there, Nick Armstrong, 6'3" and 185 pounds, tackling Polito at 6'4" and 220. Good upper body strength by number 7 Armstrong that time.
Bill, it's really strange. I've been doing high school football now for, well, I think this is going on my 12th year, and I look around the crowd and I see about 5 or 6 people on phones sitting in the crowd watching the game on the phone. Boy, we have come a long way. And just to think that we landed an object on Mars last week, I'm still amazed about that.
I thought she'd be covering it with ESPN.
Boy, that is, it's just incredible. Stremick throwing out there as far as Mars can go, and incomplete out there to Greg Lang.
The North with a very good defensive stand that time. I thought after the penalty that the South could really get something going here, but the North stiffens, and it's 4th down on the 45-yard line. And number 17 is going to come in, Frankie Gonzalez from Saddleback High School.
So this is that seesaw battle we were talking about with the momentum. And I think that with any sport, with any athlete, there's a time in a competitive atmosphere that there is no real momentum until something happens. And we'll see what that happening will be tonight. Snap a little high, but the punter gets it, and he gets a good punt off, and it goes out of bounds near the 25-yard line. So the North will trot on the field, and we'll see who they have at quarterback coming out. Lappin started the game, and then Stein came in the middle of the first quarter. Changed up the momentum a little bit for that team. Lappin was the young man that scored the touchdown.
He's in the game right now. Archie Lappin at quarterback for the North team. Again, playing for his high school head coach, John DeFries. They have a first down on the 24-yard line.
Archie Lappin going to Santa Ana. MVP of the Empire League, All-CIF Division 5. He was a Saxon of the Year, and that means he was the team MVP. He completed 62% of his passes for 2,450 yards, total of 19 touchdowns. He rushed for 8 touchdowns. Archie Lappin, 5'8", 175 pounds. They hand the ball off on the right side, maybe a yard out of it.
Leo Cosi, the ball carrier. You know, we've seen, there's a good picture of Matt Rink, who's done a fabulous job as the defensive coordinator at Santa Margarita High School. The way they went through the playoffs last year was something to behold. They had a 38-0 shutout in the finals, and Matt has just done a tremendous job.
I have watched him a number of times in practice, and he is a great teacher of the game. He really knows how to get through to these football players. He's intense. He's intense just like Jim Hartigan, and I think they kind of bring out that intensity in their ball players.
They're both good teachers. There's a good picture of Leo Cosi from Rancho Alamitos. Gain of 3 yards. This is going to bring up a 3rd and 7. So the North goes to their version of the spread offense.
I want to commend our camera operator for doing a fine job tonight in our first football game of the '97 season. Looking forward to 15 more of these as this ball floats up. It's hang time. Oh boy, nice attempt at that football. Jesus Acevedo.
Jesus Acevedo from Anaheim High School had a great high school career, Paul. Had a couple of 180, 190-yard games catching the football. This is a great throw by Archie Lappin because he just gets rocked. But this is thrown in a place where only Jesus could catch the ball, and pretty good coverage by Brian Ford.
Jesus almost had that thing. He grabbed it with his right hand, falling backwards. That ball juggled right out and fell to the turf. This brings up a 4th down and 7 with 8:22 to go here in the 3rd quarter.
Be aware of the punt block, Paul. They've come close a couple times. This time they don't
let him go, don't they? A drill of a kick. Drill of a punt goes into the hands of number 8, Brian Ford, and he is brought down on the 35-yard line.
Give great credit to the punt coverage team. We talked about those special teams. That's one of those things you don't get to practice a lot. You kind of rely sometimes on great athletes. This is a guy who will do this in college and be good at it. Brian Ford.
Some guys like to go left, some guys like to go right. Is there a guy that's always going to go one direction or the other as Ford gets pummeled backwards?
Sometimes, and some guys don't like to go anywhere. And some guys won't even do that job. But Brian has great instincts, and I think he's going to be a great punt returner in college.
That is one of the toughest jobs in the football field, is to return punts and kickoffs. 1st down and 10 from the 38. Stremick hands it off. Down to the 50 and across the 50, number 22, and that's Ray Orell.
Ray Orell from Newport Harbor High School. Had about 4 games last year where he rushed over 200 yards in each game. This is a draw play. There's the handoff. And when teams begin to blitz, Paul, this is a great thing to call. A nice call by Tim O'Hara, the offensive coordinator. And Orell, down for Orange Coast College, is a very, very gifted running back. Paul, he's going to be a handful in junior college. Good picture there of Jim Hardigan on the sideline.
He rushed for 2,124 yards, talking about Ray Orell last year. He scored 28 touchdowns for the Sailors. He has the football. He gets close to the 40, down to the 41-yard line. This is the running game that they've been missing.
Absolutely right. It's interesting to see how the North is choosing to defense formations. Here's a handoff on what is commonly called a zone play, and that is that running back is going to run at a spot at the outside hip of the tackle. If it's open outside, he bounces outside. If the defense goes outside, he comes back inside. But it's open primarily because the North is so spread out covering these formations, and the South continues to put 3 receivers to a side, and that's the side they're running to most of the time.
This is the same formation, though, that we saw Billy Newman in the game, and they really keyed on Billy Newman. Maybe they're not keying on Orell as much as they did Newman. Orell bounces outside, 3 straight carries and 3 good carries as well.
Paul, what happens sometimes in a game like this is if you get a little fancy and you depend too much on the passing game, your linemen get a little passive. Now, if you ask 56, 55, ask 71, ask all those guys that are blocking, what do you want to do? They'd say, hey, let's pound it for a while. And you know that's what Orell and Newman want to do.
And later in the game, your defensive linemen start to get a little tired. Your linebackers start to get tired of chasing you around the football field.
Absolutely.
So the backs get a little bit more yards. The strong backs get more yards in the second half than they do the first half.
And I think if you asked a great running back, how many times do you want the ball? When do you want it? I know Mike Garrett used to always say, hey, I'm better in the 4th quarter after 30 carries than I am at the start of the game.
Got a little mud on your jersey and you're ready to go. 1st down and 10 from the 37. South approaching the goal line once again. They're up 14-7. Stremick back to pass. Near side, Sango. Is that Sango? Couldn't tell.
I think it's George.
Pardon me, it's not.
That's George Sumner from Corona Del Mar.
Kind of looked like Sango the way he approached that ball, coming back at it. Nice attempt as number 32 coming back for it.
Good pass protection by the South. A pretty good throw by Nick Stremick, but George slipped just a little bit coming back for that ball. And ball control passing in this kind of a situation, Paul, against this kind of defense is as good as a running play. So you're only throwing a pass that goes up the field 7 or 8 yards, but you're giving it to a great athlete with a chance to run.
George Sumner, wide receiver out of Corona Del Mar, 6'1", 175 pounds. 2nd and 10. Strickland looking downfield in the middle of the field. Sango with the outstretched arms. He cannot catch up with that one. And the whole coaching staff of the South, they are up here right next to us near the press box, and every one of them went, oh.
You know, here's slow motion of something commonly called a smash pass, and that is number 32 Sumner runs a hitch, Sango runs a corner route, and boy, it's great execution. The ball's put right at the spot where it has to be, just maybe a step or two long. But you know, these two guys next to me here,
Tim O'Hara,
offensive coordinator Tim O'Hara, and the newest addition to the Santa Margarita coaching staff, Pat Haggerty, both great saddleback quarterbacks, and thrilled to death for Pat. He's going to teach English at Santa Margarita and become part of that staff.
3rd and 10. This is a big play right here. On the draw. And they're not going anywhere.
Great defense. Number 97, Dannon Brown from Esperanza. He smelled that draw play out.
Did you see Strickland after that play? He was really, really disappointed that they did not get that first down, that they did not make anything of that. That tells you how much these guys want to win this game.
Oh, they do. There's a lot of pride involved here because, you know, so many of these guys have played against one another in the playoffs sometime during the season. They really know who those other guys are. And if you can walk off this field tonight at 10 o'clock and say, hey, we won, you know, you can keep that in your mailbag for about 30 years.
4th down and 12. After this play, we're going to step aside for a commercial break. And you know what? It's going to go backwards.
This is one of those special teams plays that can really change a game.
Actually, we're going to stay right here with the change of possession right here. We talk about momentum, and this could be a little momentum shift. What went wrong on that snap?
A little high for number 17, Frankie Gonzalez, who's 5'11", and the ball sailed over his head, and he did a smart thing. He went back and just covered the ball. You'll see guys try to pick that up and kick it. A lot of times it gets blocked, and then it turns into a touchdown and a real disaster. But in this case, Frankie just covered the ball. So the North was a big break, and Paul, like you said early, special teams can make a difference in a game like this.
Well, Nick Stremick wishes he was out there quarterbacking, but he's not. Ball is caught. Little soft pass out on the flat, connected up to John Duhan Jr.
That's a bootleg. A bootleg pass has to come off of your best running play. And the North has been running a counter all night. Sean Stein with the bootleg pass, and he got the ball to his fullback in the flat. And you can see, I think, Paul, when you look at quarterback styles, that doesn't have to be a dart. Just get it to the guy. And Sean did a good job of that.
2nd and 2. Oh, I don't think the defensive back ever saw that coming. 33 out there. Dominique Degramont, I don't think he ever saw that coming, but if he was to look to his right, he would have had a pick.
I'll tell you what.
And if he would have caught it, we would have had a show.
If he'd have caught it and they had a set of hurdles in front of him, you'd see the best high school 300 intermediate hurdler in the whole United States.
It's kind of like that all-sport commercial. We could just probably pop those things up as they go down the football field.
Of course.
I just created a new one for him. You've seen those all-sport commercials? They're great. 3rd down and 2. Somebody jumped down there.
Nat Encinas is the umpire. That's the gentleman that has to stand right in there next to the linebackers. That's a tough job. There's Larry Arison, the official, signaling illegal procedure by the offense. The offensive left guard flinched. And you know, Paul, that's a difficult thing. You come out of a system where you've listened to a certain snap count for 4 years. And in the heat of a game, if the snap count this team is using is slightly different, it's hard. Yeah. That could be tough.
Chris Hayward warming up with Danny Polito on the south sidelines, and it looks like Hayward will come in the 4th quarter. Coach Mark McElroy of San Clemente came in and said hello to us. Steve Crapo came in and said hello to us as well. And everybody moved that time. Actually, it looked like the left tackle jumped off sides for the North squad, and that will back them up 5.
There's a good picture of John DeFries, the coach of the North. John, a longtime assistant at Rancho Santiago College, which is now Santa Ana College. And we were all happy for John when he got the head coaching job there at Brea.
His son is playing in the game, number 1, Greg DeFries. You see right there, 75 jumps off.
Great picture by our people in the truck of slow-mo. The quarterback was changing the play. And if you've called that play on the first sound, that's what that tackle hears. So
back to pass. Quarterback Brooks steps up in the pocket. Near. Touchdown. Holy cow.
That is a fabulous throw by number 4, Sean Stein. And number 28 with the catch in the corner of the end zone, Mike Crawford from Orange Lutheran.
Sean Stein to Crawford for the touchdown. 19 yards plus.
You can see Stein avoid the rush. And look at this throw, Paul. That's got to be 50 yards in the air. And 1 foot, Paul, he was out of bounds.
Let's see that one more time. If we can back that up and see that one more time. Hardigan, first of all, I thought Stein was pretty close to the line of scrimmage. And then,
good observation.
In the end of the end zone, we'll take a look at this when we come back after our commercial break. Hardigan looks up at the scoreboard and sees it 14-13. Are we tied yet? The kick gets up, and it is good. We'll be back. We'll take a look at that replay in just a moment.
You know me better than that.
All right, welcome back to the game of the week. Over the middle. We're going to go back, and we're going to show you this play again. Just moments ago, Bill, you take us through it here.
Sean Stein coming back to the line of scrimmage, pumps, throws. Now I want you to see the right foot of Crawford right on the line. So that's not a catch. Officials in that spot, Paul, we're 100 yards away from it, but I'm not sure that the camera lies. It looked like his right foot was on the line when he made the catch.
So he has to be inside the football field.
You touch any part of the line, you're out.
So anyway you see it, 4 minutes up on the clock in the third quarter. We're tied at 14. We've got ourselves a great all-star football game.
Jake Savona made that catch just a second ago. Here's Michael Smith.
Fumble. Ball hit the turf. Now they can call it either way. The turf cannot cause a fumble. And that's exactly what happened. Let's see what they call. They're going to give it to the North. Bill, correct me if I'm wrong. It looked as though he fell down. The ball popped out of his hands.
Well, I'd say the people on this side of the field would agree with that. That was a great throw and a great catch. Savona ran the defense off. The inside receiver runs him off. Mike Smith with the catch. Turns up the field, and right there with the shake. I'd agree with you, Paul. I'd say that he is on the ground when the ball came out. The ground can't cause a fumble. But if you're the North team right now, you have really grabbed the momentum. It's 14-14. You've got the football back. Sean Stein back at quarterback.
Sean Stein just moments ago threw a 19-yard touchdown pass to Crawford. And we are tied at 14-14. So 2 unanswered scores to start this game by the South, and then 2 unanswered scores by the North here in the second half, as opposed actually at the end of the first half and now in the second half. So the South has not scored in almost 2 quarters of football. And we've got a contest going.
Yeah, this is an exciting game. A lot of times all-star games are disappointments for one reason or another. I don't think anybody here is disappointed tonight.
Yeah.
Great picture there of Sean Stein. Los Alamitos High School grad, had a great high school career and has already thrown 1 touchdown pass tonight. And I like the rotation that both of these coaching staffs are using with their quarterbacks. Stein's played some, Lappin's played some, Hayward's played for the South, Stremick's played. And you say, is it hard to get a rhythm if you keep changing quarterbacks? Well, maybe. But on the other hand, it's only fair. They earned their way into the game.
Yeah.
So you give them both a chance.
Coach Matt Rink out there talking to his linebackers. Defensive coordinator for the linebackers just walked onto the field during that timeout for the South squad. Stein at quarterback. Oh, look at this, a little hitch and pitch. Out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Perfectly played.
Now, you know I love this stuff. That's great execution of the hitch and pitch. Crawford has great speed. He's the guy that gets the pitch. The hitch part of this has to be executed properly, because if the quarterback's throw is not right on the money, it's impossible to pull this off.
This
Sean
catch,
Stein
I believe,
makes a great throw. There's the hitch. There's the pitch. And Acevedo, boy, that's a great athletic move.
It sure was.
To catch it and get rid of it. And, oh, it's fun for the fans to see that kind of football.
Jesus with a wonderful play, catching it and rolling to the opposite side of the field to pick up Crawford. First down and 10 from the 33. Carrying the football now, number 8, Duhan. Duhan gets a couple. You know, it got real quiet here a second ago because everybody wanted to see, are they going to come out with a trick play or what's going to happen?
A little trap play, and Nick Gerasimou with the tackle. Nick's played a good game tonight. He's such a solid performer, a serious weight trainer. He and David Seale, two guys that prepared for this game by going over to the park and whacking each other, getting ready to go.
Bill and I will be selecting the Ballpark Pizza Team Athletes of the Game at the end of tonight's contest. 2 athletes will get that. And actually, Bill, we're going to give it to 2 athletes on the South squad because they live near Ballpark Pizza Team. We're also going to give away the Attitude and Motion Award sponsored by Southern California Screen Printing. And those will go 1 to the North squad, 1 to the South squad. That's a nice t-shirt that will be given out. We gave out a couple of those at the West Coast Passing School this week for Bill Cunity's West Coast Passing School. He picked 2 guys that had the best attitudes during the course of the week, and we congratulate them. Bill?
I had a really wonderful week. I appreciate you coming over and talking to the guys about attitude. Paul, we finished up the camp today with some thoughts about that. You know, those guys that come to that camp, you usually don't have to talk to them about attitude.
Yeah, they want to be there.
Pretty squared away guys. I
formation for the North squad. Stein hands it off to Graves. And Graves kind of dances his way across the 30, about the 28-yard line. So the momentum definitely is rolling with the North squad.
I think we're going to see probably about a 45-yard field goal attempt here by number 14, Mike Phillips from Los Alamitos High School. Mike has a tremendous leg, an all-county performer. Archie Lappin's holding, so you have to watch out, Paul. It could be a fake.
It's 4th and 4.
But he's got the leg to kick at this point.
14 of 21 field goals last year, 66%. This kick is long enough, and it is no good. Wide to the left.
He had the distance, Paul. He just pulled it a little bit. What a leg on that guy.
I want to thank Ballpark Pizza Team for sponsoring the Athlete of the Week. And they're bringing you tonight's Athletes of the Week. Ballpark Pizza Team is your local pizza parlor with family fun for everyone. You can just ask Jim Peck in that when you're up at his place at Rancho Santa Margarita. That's one of their locations. The other location is on Crown Valley and Marguerite and Mission Viejo. Come on in to Ballpark Pizza Team. It's the perfect place for great food and family fun. Matter of fact, the Gauchos go there often throughout the course of the season. Watch some football games there and hang out and
that's what we
have
do.
Some team meetings, coaches meetings. First down and 10 from the 20. Hayward now into the game. Nice diving catch coming across the middle, back for the football. And I believe that's number 9 out there catching that. It's Jake Savannah.
You know, Jake, in the last series, caught that same type of pass. Here is Hayward, 3-step drop, good protection. Actually, it's a quick 5-step drop. There's the throw. Watch Jake lay out after that ball. Good defense, but it's hard to stop a catch like that. You have to throw it in the seam, and sometimes the receiver has to kind of donate his body to make that grab.
Pickup of 8 on that particular play. The ball is on the 28 with 45 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. At the start of the 4th quarter, we're going to hand out our awards for the Southern California Screen Printing Attitude and Motion Award. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bill.
There's a twosome that's worked a little bit together. Hayward to Lang, and that moves the chains. First down. A couple of guys that have played catch together last year, about as well as anybody in the CIF. Lang caught 66 passes. Hayward threw for 2,400 yards, something like that. No, more than that.
Hey, I got my fancy little notes. I'll find them for you right now. Hayward last year threw for a total of 2,500 yards.
Yikes.
And 21 TDs. Co-MVP of the South Coast League. First down and 10. Ball on the 33. Rushed heavily, and that one is almost picked off. He tried to get rid of it, and coming out the turf is number 2, Garrett Seale out of Kennedy High School.
that was just a case of too many rushers, not enough blockers, and was almost an interception. I have been really impressed with the pressure that the North defense has put on the South quarterbacks. That defensive front is really getting up the field, and when they choose to blitz, those linebackers are getting in, and the guy that's done the most damage is Anthony Colacion, number 91 from Esperanza. It's a big down here, Paul. 2nd and 10.
Bill, we are 2 hours into this game right now, and just going to end the 3rd quarter with Newman taking up off to the 41-yard line. There's a flag on the field. We'll decipher that when we get back. We'll be back with more of the game of the week right after this. 14-14 as we head into the 4th. Welcome back to the game of the week. A penalty on that last play, and we had an untimed play. Bill, let's go over what just happened.
Quarterback drops back and throws. This is the interception right at the end of the 3rd quarter. Ruben Gasso from Buena Park with a great interception. Merle Sango tries to corral him. There's Sumner. I mean, this guy's hard to tackle. But the play before that, draw play to Billy Newman, there was an offensive penalty for a push in the back. It happened right before the end of the quarter. So they penalized the offense, and they have what's called an untimed down. They're going to run that play, then they'll change sides for the quarter.
And that's what happened on that play. And on the
Paul, you're going to win a
35-yard line of...
You're going to win a Sea-Doo.
They're giving out a Sea-Doo right now, and the queen, I guess, of the game is giving out the winner of the Sea-Doo.
Paul, you didn't win the Sea-Doo, but you won an Athletes in Motion t-shirt, which I will present to you later on in the show.
Thank you very much. Or a 747 coming down the 405 so I can get on it.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Just a little longer runway.
So 12 minutes to go in this game. We're tied up at 14-14. I want to thank all of our sponsors tonight for coming on board on the game of the week. Capistrano Car Company, Decor and Tile, Aquatech, Lake Forest Limousines, Family Toyota, Scarantino's, all the people that support us here on the game of the week. It's a lot of fun to have you. And just ran into Bill Lates from Lates Athletic Team Sales, and he'll be joining us again in the fall. And he does a wonderful job with his store over there in Lake Forest.
He does that. He does a great job of coaching at Calvary Chapel High School.
That's right.
He's got a busy life.
And he's got grandchildren and kids and a store to run.
How can a young guy like that have grandkids already?
Boy, from the 35, I formation. North has the football, and they have a little bit of the momentum.
Pitch and pitch. Or flea flicker, rather. That's a Degremont in nice position.
And oh my goodness, it looked like it was going to be caught by 22.
This is great. Is this fun?
This is crazy.
That's
Jesus Acevedo with another nice attempt at a ball.
What was, I guess, way back in history, Paul. First time I saw it was on old Cleveland Browns film. Pitch to the tailback. He goes into the line, pitches it back to Lappin, and Lappin throws a really great ball down here, but Dominic Degremont wasn't buying any of that. He goes back and almost makes an interception, but as you said, Acevedo almost came up with it
sure
too.
Did. 2nd and 10. Do you gamble on another big play like that, or do you go in your short game?
Get some first downs, I think, here. Get some first downs, see if you can control the ball.
From the 35.
Number 21 on defense for the South that time, and that's Brandon Lambert, a high school teammate of Dominic Degremont. Made a nice tackle there. They played on that Tustin team that averaged over 40 points a game, Paul.
If we can flash up our Attitude in Motion Award tonight, that would be wonderful after this next play. Our director in our truck tonight, Bill Fennell. And our people working very, very hard inside the truck and putting together this game. We're all working into our stride to get ready for the 97 football season. See, I can't even say it. Incomplete. So this will bring up 4th down and 9. So a couple blown plays, and there you have it, 4th and 9. Bill and I talked about this, and we decided on these two young men before the game started for a couple of different reasons. One obvious reason, David Seale is quite the athlete, quite the young man, the scholar, and he has really fought back from adversity. He hurt his knee prior to a Laguna Beach football game. In the locker room, he slipped coming out of the locker room, and he totally tore up his knee, continued to play. Doctors were amazed that he was able to do it, and he ends up winning the CIF title. Archie Lappin from the north. Bill, you know more about him than I do.
Oh, he's just got a big heart. He's not a very big guy, but he really plays bigger than he is. Field goal attempt is going to be short. And the South has put up a pretty good defensive stand here. But to talk about those two young men again, in this game, if you're a 10 or 11 or 12-year-old guy and you're looking down around that field, as a guy who's coached for 28 years, I'm going to tell a guy, watch number 66 and watch number 12. They're not the biggest players on the field, but they play every down. They play with heart, and I think their teammates appreciate them too.
11 minutes to go in the game.
Looking down here in front of us, we see a lot of people from Aliso, Niguel, Scott Nemeth, and Joe Wood. All these guys, Jim O'Connell, here to support the Gerasimous and Cory Fross and David. I think every player's high school coach, I'm sure, is here tonight.
Big sack in the backfield, and the South has really slowed up on offense since that first quarter. The North playing some really stout defense.
Paul, whenever the North sees that the South is in an empty set, they're bringing the kitchen sink. They're saying, look, if you can throw it in 2 seconds, go ahead. Otherwise, we're going to get after you. And the only logical answer to that, I believe, is you put your quarterback in the shotgun. The problem with that is if you haven't worked on shotgun snaps, or if the center hasn't been doing that for a long time, that's a little dangerous.
You bet.
The shotgun buys you about another second and a half.
2nd and 15. 10-15 to go in the game and counting. We're all tied up at 14. Polito, no chance of catching this one. It brings him out of bounds, and he's not too happy about it. The big fella, near 6'5", well over 200 pounds.
He had his defender beat. The throw was a little too far to the outside, and that's a timing play. Hayward had to get rid of the ball. Hayward drops back here. Polito with a little hitch and go, and he has his defender beat. The throw is a little to the outside. You can see obviously the frustration for both guys, because that's a play that those two athletes would probably hit maybe 7 or 8 out of 10 times.
3rd and 15.
Lang and Savona come in. Lawrence Mariner comes out, so they're without a tight end this time. 4 wide receivers, a single back.
Back to pass. Hayward drops it over the middle to Newman, and Newman, he's ready for a big play, but he's not going to get the first down off of this one.
9 minutes and 10 seconds, Paul, or actually 9 minutes and 37 seconds, I'm sorry, and counting. Hayward with a deep drop on this play, trying to invite the rush, and then throws the tailback screen. Newman breaks outside, but as you mentioned earlier, I think the North has done a very good job of containing one of the best running backs I've seen come out of Orange County. Now, the South is going to have to perhaps waste a timeout unless somebody hurries up. They're 1 man short on the punt team, and I think they can still get this play off. Yes, they do. Watch out for the block. Oh boy, they're putting on a great rush.
They sure are. And it's fumbled. Picked up by the South squad. Number 10, Michael Smith, at the right place at the right time. Great coverage. There's a flag on the play as well.
You know, you have to feel bad for Nick Armstrong, number 7. Guy's played a great game on defense, and you'd hate to see the game turn on a play. There's the punt, slips through his hands. Michael Smith right there to recover the ball. The penalty flag, Paul, I believe, is going to be on the North team. Larry Harrison, the official, is calling holding. That is declined, and so the South is going to take over. Nick Stremick is going to come in and play quarterback. And Paul, first there was a snap over the punter's head for the South. Now there's a fumble punt by the North. So
kind of equaled out.
Yeah, we'll say even Steven on special teams breaks. It's what you do with that break that counts.
1st down and 10 from the 37-yard line, we'll call it. 38. Make it along 37. 8:45 to go in the game. Stremick at the helm. He hands off. Busting through is number 22. We talked about that, O'Rell.
Paul, I love the way he runs. He reads his blocks. He's not, in this case, as you can see, he's not an impatient runner. He sat in there until he saw the hole open, and then he's got a great burst. Played at Costa Mesa High School his first 3 years, transferred to Newport Harbor for his senior year, and took him all the way to the CIF final game. Stremick has been in this situation a few times before in his career, leading Modern Day High School. Did it in the CIF finals in the Coliseum. Right now, he's checking the play at the line of scrimmage.
8 minutes to go in the game.
And the North with that great blitz in the middle.
They wrapped him up. Dan and Brown in there. Boy, we've been calling his name a lot.
The interior of that North defense, Dan and Brown, David Coates, Anthony Colacion. I think they've done a magnificent job tonight.
I think if you were going to give a particular section of a football team the game ball, it has to be the defensive line of the North.
Coaching staff, and you know, we try to do that in our meetings on Monday. Recognize, say, hey, boy, the secondary did a great job last Saturday, or the defensive line, or the special teams, because those guys don't get their names in the paper a lot unless they maybe sack a guy or something. But if somebody gets a sack, you can be sure somebody else was in there helping on it. And
4 wide receivers, pardon me, Bill, 4 wide receivers alone, running back in the backfield. Too much time.
Now those are things in a game like this
can't happen.
It's 3rd down and 3. You have to have a play in, and you've got to be able to run it. And now 3rd and 7. Is there a difference in that? Oh my gosh. The difference, the advantage now goes to the defense. And look what they're doing, Paul. They're bringing in their nickel package.
Yeah.
They send out the linebackers, bring in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 defensive backs, which is actually what we call a dime package. But on the sideline, everybody coming over and congratulating Ray Orell, who came in and did a nice job. This is empty, Paul. No backs. I'll bet you they blitz. Here it comes.
Stremick back to pass in the pocket a long time, and he's going to be brought down on the 40 for a loss of about 4. Make it 5 yards he lost on that. So right when things were going good, and he takes off his helmet in disgust. Or was that hat ripped off his head?
I think it was. I think that's what he's talking to the official about. In comes the punting team.
Big number 99, David Coates in there. Stremick coming off.
Boy, the North coaches have to be extremely happy with the way their defense is played, because that fumbled punt really didn't cost them anything. Gonzalez back in punt formation. Hurries to get it off. Fair catch is called for and made at the 14-yard line.
Bill, with 16:16 left on the clock, we're going to step aside. 14-14.
5:14 left in the game. The North with the ball at their own 21-yard line. Quarterback is Sean Stein. Pitches the ball to Keon Grays, and he picks up about 6 yards, taking the ball all the way out to the 24-yard line. That's going to bring up a 3rd and 1, a critical down for the North. 5:20 and counting, a 14-14 tie. We had a tie last year in this game at 12-12. And even though that would make both teams semi-happy, I think that the crowd would love to see overtime, although they won't do that here in this 38th annual Lions Orange County All-Star game. Sean Stein at quarterback. Quarterback Los Alamitos last year. Here's a handoff to Graves, and the South defense really stout that time. Brock Amos in on the tackle, number 50 for the South from Edison High School, Mike Ketchum. Nick Gerasimou in again. Nick's had many tackles tonight from his middle linebacker spot. And they're going to measure this, I think, because 3rd and 1, the North defense really came up with a stout defensive effort. Larry Harrison, the official, calling for a measurement. And with 4 minutes and 13 seconds left in the game, if this is not a first down, then as the coaching staff, I think you have to really make a long take a long, hard look at this. You can't give up the ball this close to your own end zone, no matter how much confidence you have in your defense. There's the measurement. And it's going to be short by about a foot. So it's going to be 4th down and about a foot. And they're sending Sean Stein back into the game. So the North is going to go for this. And in an all-star game, I'm certain that maybe you take some chances you might not take during the regular season. But with 4:43 left in the ball game, 4th and 1, they're going to come out with a tight end and 2 receivers to the right, a single back. And it looks to me like Sean Stein probably has a first down. Larry Harrison signals first down. And that's a good call. You've got a 6'3", 200-pound quarterback, and he can get you a foot most of the time. So 4:29 left and counting in this football game. The North with the ball at their own 24-yard line. And this has really turned out to be quite a defensive struggle. When the game started, Damian Minna scored about 24 seconds into the game. Then Chris Hayward threw a touchdown pass to Billy Newman. And from that point on, the North has done all the scoring. We're at 14-14 with 4 minutes left in the game. Sean Stein with a ball fake, and he's going to go deep. He's throwing the ball deep down the middle to number 16. And a great effort by the North's number 16, Paul Tessier from Pacifica High School. But a great defensive play by number 5, Scott Arthur from Trabuco Hills High School. We haven't talked about Scott much tonight because they haven't tried to throw the ball in his area. Quarterback with a nice ball fake, and you can see Tessier take off, and Arthur starts to chase him down there at the bottom of the screen. Scott catches up with the ball, and at the very highest point of his leap, he just gets a hand on the ball, and you can see Tessier's disappointment. 3:54. Here comes the pitch to Keon Graves, and a great defensive play by number 2, Damian Minna. Seaview League Defensive Player of the Year last year at Santa Margarita High School. He's got a new hairdo going tonight, but obviously hasn't affected his play, as he's really done a tremendous job. He's already scored a touchdown, and he makes a big play on Keon Graves. So we have a 3rd down and 12 with 3 minutes and 25 seconds and counting. So this is a big down for the South defense. If they get a stop here and they get a turnover, they have an offense that can put the ball in the end zone tonight, primarily by throwing the ball, because the North has done a great job on run defense. North is in trips to the wide side of the field, and they're going to throw out there. Offensive lineman catches the ball, and Sean Stein, his throw was back into the middle of the formation, and when the offensive lineman catches that ball, it becomes dead at that spot. The official's going to mark it there. David Seale is in the end zone with the football. And there are a lot of people on this sideline with their hands up in the air saying, you know, he's already down there and scored, but the officials are saying, when the center caught the ball, was it a catch, or did it hit his hands and just fall on the ground as an incomplete pass? If that's the case, then it's going to be 4th down, and the North is going to have to punt. But you know, David Seale did a smart thing there at the urging of his teammates, and that is, if you're not sure, you pick up that ball and get in the end zone. When you get in the end zone, then find out what the officials have to say. Larry Harrison, the referee, is calling that hand on top of the head, in this case meaning an illegal player caught the ball. Anybody with numbers 50 through 79 cannot catch the football. In that case, the center caught it. So that ball is going to be marked for play probably somewhere back around the 10-yard line. Matt Encinas, the umpire, puts it down right on the 10-yard line. So it's going to be 4th down. Number 14 for the North back to punt. That's Mike Phillips. And if you're the South team right now, I'm not so sure you want to try and block this punt. I mean, you can block it for a touchdown, but if you rough the punter, then they're going to get the football back if you're the North team. But right now, you've got Brian Fort back in position to return this. Larry Harrison's going to wind the clock in at 2:56 left in the fourth quarter of the 38th annual Orange County All-Star game. It's a good snap. He gets the kick off, and Brian Fort's going to have a chance to return this. He catches it at the 50-yard line. And that is a great open field tackle by number 1, Greg DeFries from Brea High School. Greg, the son of John DeFries, the head coach for the North team. So 2:46 left in this football game. Nick Stremick coming in to run the South offense. He's got Lawrence Mariner at tight end. He's got Danny Polito outside. He's got Ray Arell at tailback. Merle Sango. Merle Sango's a guy that really has touched the ball about 3 times tonight, and he's a game breaker kind of guy. You've got Billy Newman at tailback. A first down at the 45-yard line. Zone running play to Billy Newman. And Billy Newman doing what he does best, and that is break tackles and run vertically. Big Stan Bennett there to help him up. And with 2:25 left, the South does have time to put together a drive on the ground. Something that they really haven't had a chance to do tonight. One thing that happens when you rush the passer all the time is sometimes you get in those lanes and you're thinking about where the quarterback's going to be, and if it's a running play, it may open up a little wider crease for that running back. So Nick Stremick with his team at the line of scrimmage. Same play again. There's Newman, a good block by Polito. That ball is going to be marked at about the 23-yard line. So Billy Newman on 2 plays has gained about 20 yards. And you have to credit Danny Polito that time. Here's the handoff. You'll see a good block by Stan Bennett at the line of scrimmage. Polito down there with a great block to seal off the corner. And here comes Newman. And he's run out of bounds by number 25, Nam Nguyen from Rancho Alamitos. 2:09 and counting. A little drama tonight for a change. This is great. There's Newman again. The Billy Newman show is the South offensive line starting to move people. We'll see how they handle the time here with 1:58 and counting. And the ball currently on the 20-yard line. And remember, you've got quite a place kicker on your team, number 54, Chad Johnson from Toro. And they're well within his range right now. Greg Lang at 1 receiver, Merle Sango, Danny Polito outside, Lawrence Mariner at tight end. Cory Fross at right tackle. They've been running weak most of the time. The ball's on the ground, and the North has it. The North has the ball. A fumbled snap. Number 40 for the South, Jake Elan, comes up with the recovery. And boy, does that deflate the South. We see people up in the stands here beginning to leave right now. And I wouldn't leave just yet. 1 minute and 29 seconds left. Just about anything can happen. But that South drive, which was going along so well, ends on this play where there's a fumble between the center and the quarterback. And when the ball popped out, kind of looks like a rugby scrum for a second. When the ball popped out, it was recovered by number 40, Jake Elan. And Jake is from El Dorado High School, and he's played himself a heck of a game tonight. All right, with 1 minute and 12 seconds and counting, Archie Lappin's the kind of guy that in his high school career at Loera made a lot of big things happen with not much time left. So let's see what he can do here. They're going to run bootleg. He gets outside, and the throw is out of bounds, but I tell you what, he did a great little dance out there trying to get the pass off. Nick Gerasimou and David Seale, teammates at Aliso Niguel, were in the backfield along with number 40, Sean Tagatuli. It's down to 55 seconds now, and the ball back at the 19-yard line. Here's Lappin on the bootleg. And if you watch David Seale chasing him, a good job by the right tackle to come back and block David. There's Gerasimou, who forces the quarterback to stop and throw. And the other thing you have to worry about if you're the North team right now, if you throw an interception down here and turn the ball over with Chad Johnson's leg, the South still has a chance to win this game. So 55 seconds left. Plenty of time for something to happen. Lappin's going to run the quarterback draw, and he is stopped out of bounds. Now, it would have been really critical there for the North to get that ball out of bounds, because the clock, they say he was tackled inbounds, and now they're going to call timeout. 39 seconds remain in the game. and the side judge said that Lappin was tackled inbounds, so that clock was running. It's third down and about 7. Third down and about 7 with 39 seconds left. If the North does not get a first down, they're going to have to punt from their own territory, and the South would have an opportunity. Here's the quarterback draw. He breaks 1 tackle. He breaks 2 tackles. Boy, this is a guy who, for his size, really fights, and the South finally tackles him. 39 seconds left in this game, and Paul and I want to thank all the people on our crew who have done such a magnificent job tonight. All the people in the truck, all the camera operators, they've been here since about 3:30 this afternoon setting up for this game. Stuff that you don't see very often, but I think they're having fun too. When you look at the people that showed up tonight for this game, you have to start getting excited about the 1997 football season. You know that the stands tonight are just filled with guys who were high school football players, junior All-American, Pop Warner guys. The season's not very far away, and this is an exciting time. 39 seconds left. Larry Harrison winds in the clock. The North has the football. They're at the 24-yard line. Archie Lappin at quarterback. It's third down and 7. And this is a big play in this game. Keep the momentum going, or if the North or if the South can get a turnover, this is going to be a scramble by Lappin. He has first down yardage, and he runs out of bounds. That is a huge play. He gets the first down, stops the clock, and that's what that guy did for Aurora High School for 3 years. Here he is on the drop back pass. He looks left, and you can see now that the rush is pinned in, and when he takes off, there's nobody on the right-hand side of the formation. And he does a great job here of kind of decoying the corner, and he doesn't get the first down by much, but you don't need to get more than a yard, and stepped across the line and stopped the clock. 32 seconds left. Lappin trying to communicate now with his tight end and his wide receivers. As you might see that hitch and pitch again. Lappin into the center. Looks like Gerasimou fakes the blitz. Lappin escapes again. And this throw is dropped by the tight end. That's going to stop the clock with 25 seconds left. Number 48, David Brookman, 6'4", 240-pound tight end from Fullerton, was the intended receiver. Here's Lappin on the drop back, and he looks left. He's got good protection. He escapes to the right again, but you understand here that running the ball is probably not the smartest thing because of the clock. So he does find his tight end, Brookman, but the ball's incomplete. A good play on defense by number 1, the safety, Ryan Tombrello from Edison High School. 25 seconds left in this Orange County All-Star game, a 14-14 tie. Lappin comes back and throws the seam pattern, and that is intercepted by Brian Fort. Now there are 20 seconds left on this change of possession, and that is part of the danger of 2-minute offense. There's a chance that you are going to give up the ball. But the South now has 20 seconds, and they realistically need to get the ball somewhere down to the 25-yard line to give Chad Johnson a chance to win this game. And Chad is at center right now for the South offense, or at right guard, so if it comes time to kick the winning field goal, they'll have to substitute. Time is out on the field with 20 seconds left. And we'll be back right after this. There are 6 seconds left in this football game. The South, after the interception by Brian Fort, has the ball at the 29-yard line. There are 6 seconds left. And here's the throw to Greg Lang of San Clemente High School. Now watch the move here he puts on, because he knows he's got to stop the clock. A great job by Greg. He gets out of bounds and stops the clock. And this was a terrific job in 2-minute offense. we said when the ball was intercepted by Fort that they had to get somewhere down around the 25 or 30 yard line. Well, the ball rests at the 29 yard line. 6 seconds left in the game. And Chad Johnson from El Toro High School, who has kicked the ball this far many times in his career, is going to have a chance to win this football game. Now, you've got to protect him because the South team, if this ball happens to be blocked, there's a chance for the North team to win the game. So South has to give great protection to Chad. It's got to be a good snap. All those things that coaches talk about in terms of keeping the game plan together. If you can snap it, hold it, and block for this guy, he definitely has the leg to win the football game. Okay, this is what the people came to see. 6 seconds left in the game. The ball will be spotted at the 36-yard line. This will be a 46-yard field goal for Chad Johnson. Mike Smith, his teammate from El Toro, will hold. There's the snap. The kick is up. And it is good. Chad Johnson from 46 yards away. And they're going crazy on the field. And I'll tell you have to give credit to Brian Fort for the interception. You got to give credit to Chris Hayward and Greg Lang, some guys that played catch in high school, for driving the ball down the field. And then a great snap, a great hold, and Chad Johnson with the field goal that looks like it's going to win the game. There's 1 second left. And for our athletes of the week, we're going to name Chad Johnson from El Toro High School as one of them, and Chris Hayward from San Clemente as the other. Chad Johnson has got to be on cloud 9 right now. And, you know, this game has gone back and forth so many times. You can say there were times when it looked like the North might be taking control. And the South, Coach Jim Hardigan, his staff, have to be thrilled to death with that comeback. Here's the kick. Great protection. And Chad touches that thing off at the 36-yard line. And I'll tell you what, that would have been good from about 56 yards. Chris Hayward from San Clemente High School, bound for Nevada, Las Vegas. Chad Johnson from El Toro, bound for the University of Iowa. I know both sets of parents have to be thrilled for that one, but on the other hand, this 38th annual game has been a dandy. I've been a 46-yard field goal by Chad Johnson will go in the record books. And tonight we're looking at this beautiful program that was printed for the game, and it listed every game in the history of the series. And I had the good fortune of coaching the game in 1979 that these people called the most exciting game in the series. I'd say this one is every bit as exciting. 17-14 with a second left. And the man who kicked the field goal, Chad Johnson, will kick off. He'll kick it on the ground. There's a line drive. The second it's touched, the clock will start. This is Leo Cozy. Leo Cozy, he's got a little bit of room on the outside. He's going to pitch it back, and we're going to play a little rugby here. Ball is still on the ground, and that's the game. The 38th annual Orange County All-Star Football Game. A great show for the fans. We'd like to thank the Brea Lions Club for everything they've done for the game. I'd like to thank Paul and all the people on our staff and the crew that did such a great job tonight. The final score, the South 17, the North 14, and we'll look forward to seeing all of you during the high school football season. Thanks and good night.